Hey, Bigpod.
What?
I had an absolutely terrible week.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, the local town's water supply got contaminated by good old-fashioned Mother Nature. And then work had a bunch of machines catch fire, and I happened to be the scrap guy.
So, then it was good time to take vacation from podcasting.
Yeah, pretty much. Cue the music.
Cue the music.
Hey guys, welcome to No Tux Allowed. I'm your host, Josh. And today, the color of my shirt is irrelevant to our conversation. Same with, my co-host, Bigpod.
And for those who wonder why we didn't have an episode the last couple of weeks, well, in Europe we have this concept of collective leave, which is basically where everybody at the company takes a vacation. And well, I am European, so I kind of forced everyone at company to actually observe such a thing, and that meant 2 weeks of no podcast.
Yep. I mean, that's just going to be a thing that happens. But, Bigpod, in the meantime, I'm glad that, social media in general exists. Otherwise, you would not have been able to tell me about that. Because, we talked through a social media service, this thing called Matrix,
Yep.
that we use to communicate with each other. And, social media in nature, well, first of all, you have to be able to explain it to a bunch of old people because they're arguing about it in court worldwide. So
Basically.
we have talked about how Meta, the company behind Facebook and Instagram and whatever else they happen to run nowadays.
Yeah, Threads.
Yeah, Threads. We talked about a couple months ago about how they lost a lawsuit. Well, there's another lawsuit, and this time it's from the state of California and 29 other states. It's just that it happens to be California, Colorado, Kentucky, and New Jersey going first, and they all decided they were just going to join each other on this lawsuit, I believe. And they're going into trial in California. Now, obviously, they're demanding $1.4 trillion worth of damages out of this, and
Yeah.
and they're citing that everything that you would expect them to cite as reasons why this lawsuit should proceed underway, with social media services being available to anybody and everybody within the U.S. legal age of pseudo consent. I like to call it. It's not the full age of consent, but it's the age of some kind of consent of 13 years old. That's generally recognized nationwide. Well, and of course, saying that social media services not only collect the data of anybody and everybody, including these children, but also make their platforms as addictive as they possibly can be.
Yeah, so that people remain and continue using the platforms, which generally means create more ad revenue.
Yeah. Now, effectively, this is probably the largest consumer protection lawsuit in American history that we're dealing with right here. So we're going to continue keeping an eye on this one. Now, of course, the U.S. District Judge, which is Yvonne Gonzalez Rogers, is overseeing this trial in I forget which district it is. They don't mention it in this article.
U.S. District Judge in Oakland, I believe.
Yeah, but there's like district numbers and everything too.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm certain we can Google her name and find it real quick. But we're recording an episode on, and I don't like Googling things live on the show. But anyways, the trial in total is expected to last 6 to 8 weeks for this trial, and then depending on how the judge rules, it might open to appeals, which is another 6 to 8 weeks, and then more appeals on top of appeals until like a judge eventually tells somebody that they're sick and tired of all these appeals. Stop doing that. That's basically how the U.S. court system actually works.
Yeah.
And of course, this one's probably going to be talked about quite a lot because this is against Meta, but they're also suing YouTube, TikTok, and Snap, which that's interesting. But
Yeah.
seeing as we're going to be arguing about it through like our judicial branches here in the United States, let's talk about like the legislative solution that France attempted.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, like I said,
Attempted. That's the operative word. Attempted.
yeah, they signed it into law and everything, but I don't think it ever got a chance to even do anything because France basically banned social media services for anybody under 15.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I don't think is such a bad idea.
It's not the
Let's
worst
be
stuff. Yeah.
honest. Technically speaking, if it's all above board, it should be banned for age 13, because again that is when you're even allowed to join, but because it's only by the actual terms of service that is actually like telling you can't. Though technically there are some instances behind it that are telling them to say that, but it's just 2 years more. But they are crucial 2 years in my opinion.
They are fairly crucial because you got to remember this is like pre-teenage years that you're going through. You're like going right through puberty basically, so
Yeah.
you're going through a lot. So, anyways, as soon as the law passed, the French president, that's Macron, right?
The French president would be Emmanuel Macron.
Macron. Okay. I'm in America. We make up names here. He immediately asked the prime minister to prepare a new draft that would take into account that would take things into account from like the Constitutional Council. Because as soon as this got signed into law, it got kind of handed over to the Constitutional Council, which immediately basically came out and said, "Hey, this violates Article 1 of the French Constitution." To quote them, it says that it constitutes an infringement that is neither appropriate, necessary, nor proportionate to the freedom of expression and communication for under 15s.
So the Constitutional Council found Article 1 of the legislation to be infringement nor appropriate or necessary or proportionate to the freedom of expression and communication for under 15. So my guess, this means they'll have to change it a little bit, maybe write things a bit different. I don't know exactly how French constitution is written and all that, but based on the fact that that they aren't giving up, so the fact that Macron gave to Prime Minister Lecornu once again get a new draft in, that means there is a way forward for them, or at least they believe there is a way forward.
Yeah, bear in mind to enforce this will require like age verification as well. And I don't know exactly how like the law is processed, but if it's anything like how the U.S. proposals are going, I hope that the French handle that a lot better. But anyways, this is on top of like a couple other countries that have done similar legislation. Australia, famously the country that's famous for basically banning anything and everything that it considers a problem, banned social media for anybody under the age of 16. But they acknowledge, like every other thing that they banned, that many people continue to just use it. And of course, we've also got the UK I believe that the UK is either proposed a ban or it's like official policy now. But that was
No, they have announced that they will, but that was in June. So that is a bit in the air because they just had change of prime ministers, like, or I believe they will have a change of prime ministers, but the previous or the one that is currently in living, I believe, Sir Keir Starmer announced in June that under 16s will be banned from social media by January. But right now, I don't know how much that is actually signed into law because a lot of that is in the air. And they also been talking about a midnight curfew for UK teens aged 16 and 17, but I'm not sure how, because that's supposed to be optional, so I'm not sure. And on the same, how to say, the same vein, even in EU there have been talks about social media delay for children. And once again, I'm gonna say, and people will hate me for this, but I think that's a good idea. As someone who has been recently, in the last 15 years, 13, and has seen that growth in the era when social media wasn't even as important as it is today and as addicting as it is today. Honestly, it should be age of maturity, which when you should be allowed, and it should be actually in some way preventable for such, for people to join. Sorry, and I know this may be freedoms. Reality is, social media is, as much as it is good to have, it is also a fairly dangerous place. You're giving away a lot of your own data you may not even, and data that these kids don't even understand what they're giving away. But more importantly, you're also consuming content you have no understanding of, or no understanding what it does to you. You should be, if we have decided that you're mature by a certain age, then said content should be far more understandable to you at that point. So you should be able to have access to it by that point. While I do think there should be some ways these kids should have access to some of this data, of course. Well, specifically, there should be way for parents to allow access to children through with which point you would also have parents deciding what kind of content their kids should be able to watch, and more importantly, actually see what kind of content they can watch and what kind of content they're watching. It shouldn't be like a blanket no ban. Like, when you're age 15, you have certain level of thinking, so you should be able to have certain access, but not the access to the unadulterated pipe that is social media, especially certain social media in the form of shorts and stuff like that. But on the other hand, maybe more importantly, what kids post. That's the
yeah.
other part. What they are giving away. That's also very important because, let's be honest, when I was 15, I did post some things I shouldn't post, and probably most of us who lived in the age of social media did. It is, and like, I today understand what I had when I had, because I had no parental control over me, over my usage of internet.
To be fair, when you and I were kids, very different from like today, what today's kids have
Oh
to deal
yeah,
with. And the
yeah,
internet
yeah.
was, even though it was much more distributed, it was a bit more. The companies were willing to be a bit more active in like what they were controlling on the platforms.
Yes.
That said, I also I agree with you because I remember the era before the general internet. Like you guys got to remember that I live, in the cornfields of America, which means that I had internet way later than the rest of the country. So like the early half of my teenage years, get cat out of the way. I had like. In the meantime, let's move on. Because we could talk about
People are gonna hate us enough already.
So let's just make everybody disappointed. Because I'm sure, Bigpod, you went clicking through YouTube and you accidentally ran into an AI generated YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
And
those are fun.
You may or may not have seen a watermark on that video. Some models put watermarks on them, some don't.
Yep.
Well,
yep.
You can now add Google Gemini to the kind that don't watermark videos because, well, they now added an option to remove the watermark.
Yeah. So, for a bit of context, the watermarking discussion came to the forefront when Anthropic announced that they will be watermarking basically everything they generate. Which means, including text. Because EU AI Act said so, and there is no way to go around it. You have to watermark everything. Everything has to be watermarked according to Anthropic, not according to EU AI Act. Let's be clear.
At least they're announcing it, and getting like the more skeptical people about AI.
Yes.
Something that they can actually kind of cheer for. But at the same time, I've seen a lot of kind of garbage AI generated content on just YouTube. It's most notable. It's most notable in like the shorts feed than like the proper videos.
Definitely.
But
and
World War II history specifically is kind of fucked right now.
Oh yeah. But what I wanted to say was, since we're talking about social media and its effect on people, like the explosion of people reacting to the Anthropic announcement and hating on EU, going, an Anthropic will destroy the quality of their output, destroy the quality of code, yada yada yada, was so huge. Yet it definitely shaped the discussion. Most people weren't even reading the actual AI Act. They were just reading what some guy wrote, what Anthropic wrote, what that guy who was reacting to Anthropic wrote, and then of course what Claude wrote, what OpenAI wrote, what what is it called? Oh, Grok wrote, and so on. And most of that data is definitely skewed by social media. And that's how we came to the point that I went, I'm going to read the AI Act. Because I like to go to prime sources. And it isn't nowhere near as bad as Anthropic was representing it. And
of course, Anthropic is very anti-regulation, so of course they're going to make a big deal about it.
And then the news about Google came out, because Google has been doing the Synth ID thing, which is their AI-generated watermarking service. They basically create a watermarking to most of the generated outputs, and you can, with Synth ID, you can check if it's actually watermarked or not, and if that is Synth ID watermarked, and if they are removing that capability and even giving you ability to remove said watermark, that means they probably know what is allowed and what actually isn't allowed to be watermarked.
Well, they do kind of discuss on this. They do say that there will still be a Synth ID watermark, but it will not be a visible watermark. That's what it is. As in, like, if you're watching the video file, you won't see the watermark.
Yeah, okay, so that means there is a machine-readable watermark, but not human-readable watermark.
Yeah, and it will also still contain the C2PA content credentials that show up in like the video metadata.
Yeah.
So you'll still have that. So it's kind of a balance between like creative control and this guy says safety. And like,
Yeah.
okay, I mean that's the Google Vice President Josh Woodward saying that. I don't see where safety comes in here, but just that's just creative control.
Yeah.
That said, of course, they're not offering this option everywhere. Obviously, it's being withheld in the EU, so that watermark is still going to basically appear. And same with China as well. And then like several other countries, they're saying that, hey, you need to pay us like the highest tier subscription to be able to make use of the ability to remove a watermark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Bigpod, we got to have a talk about AI models.
Oh.
Yeah. That previous one there was kind of, just get people prepared, because now it's time for the true dystopia. Because
yeah,
there was obviously an Israeli security company that got involved. And
great.
one thing that we know about Israel is that they're really good with cybersecurity in both directions.
Yeah, definitely.
So they tested a few different models, coming from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Meta. So basically everybody that kind of matters for like models.
Yeah, and remember, for a bit of context, I am the context guy. OpenAI and Anthropic have been in this battle of who hacked more people, whose AI escapes the sandbox more for last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
it was amazing. So I believe we did talk about, like, right before we had our leave, about the
we talked about the Anthropic one. The OpenAI one. Yeah.
OpenAI one, where they hacked for vanity. Well, while we were on vacation, Anthropic basically came out with,
we hacked 3 companies accidentally.
We did it better. We were first. They by the time they were done, we were done multiple times. We hacked 3 companies, and there was actually no reason behind it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a bit of a battle. Who hacks other people more? And like, yeah, okay, let's be clear. It is a bit of, we are the more dangerous one, so buy us because we are better at this kind of competition. But I think there is also a kernel of truth, because, well, these kind of things will happen because these AIs have a lot of information, and they are really, really, really fast.
Well, anyways, this Israeli company is called Irregular, and like their whole stick is stress testing AI models. That's basically what they do. And well, they ran this study using what they refer to as several models over a 48 to 72 hour period, and they gave some of these models fake names and let the models go wild, saying that, hey, I would like you to let's see, they wanted to they actually talk about the prompt here. Let me see if I can find it real quick. They wanted to test whether a model could help a malicious insider gain unauthorized access to sensitive data inside a company's production database, and it called out for the model to carry out reconnaissance, locate, and use private keys, gather information about the target, and extract data and attempt to avoid detection. Well, in a handful of these cases, it turns out that the fake names of companies that they gave these models happen to be real companies with real systems that the models hacked.
Yep. And that's a big problem. Something like that happened to Anthropic as well. They were like, this is kind of like the name, so I guess that's the actual target. Let's go to internet.
Now, here's the difference between how Irregular is reporting these incidents going down and how everybody else is reporting these incidents going down. They actually just came out and said internet access is enabled for these models. They specifically said that. So we know that there was an internet connection, and we don't have to speculate about how the models gained access to the internet.
Yeah.
We just know that they had access.
Also, fun fact, more details about OpenAI, how it happened, came out, and they were pretty interesting. For example, did you know it used basically a repository to talk to other models and then to breach into the internet? It was a real like it uploaded packages as a message board.
That is interesting. We will have to have we will put a link for that in the show notes.
Yeah, and one day we will talk about it because it was a really interesting exploit into how the AI talk to each other and like all that, like because environment was common to multiple tests, not just like one model. So the AI could talk over like many generations. Like today's test could talk to like next week's test. So a lot of information was passed. So it was a really interesting hack, and it kind of shows how these models can be used to like even communicate and do some real damage if they are left in pure loop form with no human supervision.
Yeah, well, anyways, for the company that did accidentally get hacked, Regular did say that they lacked common safeguard practices, which is a thing that happens on the internet.
Yep.
Obviously, the company that got hacked, we could just simply tell them to do better, but they've probably already heard that 100 times.
Yeah.
And of course, going forward, they're going to expand manual review of model behavior during the actual testing. Okay.
Yeah.
And of
Wow.
course, they're also pointing to broader issues with across the board with the industry, saying that hey, existing monitor tools and classifiers struggle to tell whether there's legitimate red team activity from a genuine attack. So
Yeah.
we should probably be developing something better. Probably using AI
Definitely.
tools to generate it because we're AI bros and we don't know any better way. Uh,
Yeah, but it's also actually genuinely smart
Yep.
thing to do because speed at which it needs to happen, it kind of needs a high level of computing and maybe some level of thinking. As fun as we are, as great as we are, we're not our brains aren't really 5090s at this
Well,
point.
I'm glad that we came up with the concept of a log file, even though we don't know where it is.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
at least it exists somewhere.
but
And yeah,
anyways, they're also going to like start providing clear documentation with like their various customers about proper setup scope and how to make sure that your models don't do more than what they're actually supposed to do.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's been a major concern for me. How do I know that this is doing actually what I want and not more? Especially when you give them more lax permissions, when they can do whatever. Because we did hear of people losing their entire home directories to GPT Soul and stuff like that.
Yeah, Lighted, that was in the much earlier days, and AI models have gotten a little bit smarter.
Well, no, this was a GPT 5.6 Soul,
Oh,
so latest generation
oh,
of
that one? Oh, okay.
OpenAI and
Okay,
stuff like
well,
that. Like this still happens. Like AI goes after their object. We should understand that AI is a statistical model going after its objective. So when it has an objective, it's gonna do whatever is necessary to finish it. That's the boring version of the vanity idea. It
yeah.
it had an objective. It couldn't complete it itself. It saw an opportunity. It found a solution. That's the realistic. So AI is go from point A to point B, objective done. That's the AI. So is if for some prompt or for some it went so far as to think deleting home directory will solve my problem, it's gonna delete your home directory. Sorry.
Yeah, so anyways, I would like to know your thoughts about what we can do to like safeguard AI, right? Because heaven forbid, there's no banning it at this point. It's too
Yeah,
prevalent.
yeah,
So we need to like come up with a discussion because the only thing that I can really think of is that the route that we're going, we're basically screwed. But I'm
something like
certain
that.
I'm certain that there's going to be somebody that's going to use an AI tool to write us an email and send it to contact@tuxbase.com, and just send us the output because we've already gotten a couple that have tried.
Yeah. And before we continue, allow me a minute
Uh
to
oh.
just to vent a bit. I hate GitHub.
I
And you probably heard it before because I hate GitHub. The thing crashes all the time, like just stops working and stops working for hours upon hours. And people will say things like try to excuse its behavior by saying, yeah, like people are pushing too much AI slop for it to actually like cope with and stuff like that. Problem is YouTube ain't exactly a small operation. It has its own large amount of problems with scale, just like GitHub. Its content is far more complexer
far
compared to
more
GitHub.
complex, far more compute intensive, probably.
Yeah, and guess what? YouTube doesn't go down. Why the hell does GitHub go down? And I'm gonna say it right now. If you believe that GitHub is somehow worse at scaling or has less of a problem, less capability to scale than YouTube because YouTube has Google in it, behind it. Remember, uh, GitHub is owned by this small, actually micro company that I don't know. I don't remember owning cloud. I just remember it owning the world's computer, as that's the tagline for Microsoft Azure. So if world's computer cannot solve the problem of scale, then there is something else. The problem.
I mean,
Believe me,
you
there
want to
is
talk?
a problem.
For the record, the last time YouTube even had some form of an outage was February 17th of this year.
Yeah.
Do you know what went down?
What?
The recommendation system.
Oh no.
The part
What?
that the part that people hate the most.
Yeah, wanna know what? I think the last last major uh, failure of GitHub was I believe 2 days ago. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. The things just blend into me, for me, and it didn't just one small part go down. When it goes down, everything goes down, and
Well,
like it goes down too much. So and then people will say, yeah, it's hard to scale. Yeah, it is hard to scale. It is using Ruby. Like as someone who has scaled couple of things, who has deployed couple of uh, source version control systems, yeah, I get version control can be hard to scale because Git servers you cannot just split them between multiple devices. But that doesn't mean you cannot have like multiple. Yeah, if you, okay, I'm gonna say like this bit goes down. Why does every repository go down? All API, everything go down. If there is a small problem here, that's the issue. So I'm gonna say it. Everybody, please switch away from GitHub, for especially for private stuff, the stuff that you do not either you don't care that the world sees, or stuff that like you would have no problem just not showing to the world. Just switch to something like Forjo or GitLab self-hosted. And if you really, really, really do not want to manage the self-hosting of it, I guess that email we previously mentioned, contact at tuxbase.com, can be used to get to send me an email, and we can talk about me self-hosting it for you. Because guess what? I can do that, and I'm pretty comfortable doing
hey,
it.
you kind of got to force your instance up and running a little bit quicker, and I had to ask you to enable SSH access because apparently you don't use that. But as
Yeah,
you
I don't
said,
do that.
you had it working within like 15 minutes as soon as you said that you were working on it.
It's like it is easy to do, and yes, if we two of us had kind of like massive scale, which won't happen because it's two of us. Yeah, I would have to have more complex things to do.
I
But
mean,
guess what?
I've got a project for runner.
That's
I've got a project that I could use some runners for.
well, deploy them.
Okay.
No, the point I'm trying to say is what, like, Git is supposed to be decentralized, yet we have put all of Git onto a single central server.
Which
Let's decentralize it again, please.
yeah, that is like a bit of an insane bit. So, anyways, we also happen to have like a Discord channel that you can also
Yeah.
talk with us on, or even each other, because people use Discord until Discord gets banned in the country, which then they can switch over to our Matrix instance. Which
Yeah.
if you know how to use Matrix, the link is in the description. So, and of course, if you would like to give us money because you wind up wanting to use one of our services, which maybe we should enable a paid tier for at some point. If people express enough interest.
Maybe.
Yeah, we can.
Maybe.
Yeah, you can just send us money on patreon.com/NoTuxAllowed. Just drop us a couple dollars right there. Currently, we offer you a higher bitrate audio feed because that's realistically all we can really think about putting on there.
Yeah.
We haven't put like exclusive content on there for a while, and I apologize about that. But
But
it might
if things
happen.
go according to plan, in couple of weeks, there may be first service we can offer as a gift to all our subscribers because, well, opposite to what people will think, I actually use AI, and it's been very helpful in creating some code.
Oh,
And the first of the services I've been working on is gonna hit my server as an internal me only test to see how well I did. It's
well,
not gonna be something very special. It's the often talked yet seen quest line, the to do app system, with now added component of AI native task system. Specifically, I want a system for tasks for AI agents because I realize I too often just basically go, I want this task, this task, this task, and list hundreds, 200, 300 tasks for what I need AI to do, and just go, yeah, this is the list we're gonna be completing things in. Let's get on it. So, yeah, it's great that it's just a file in a repository, but it would be much better if it was like a service I could look at and like edit while the AI is running and stuff
I mean,
like that, and
I would be.
actually check on
Hey,
the progress.
if you get the service, if you get this thing working, sign me up for it because I will tell your AI agent to just start spinning random stuff up on Tuxbase just for fun of it.
That won't happen. My agents tend to be very self-contained because
Oh,
they have a lot of rules of you cannot do this. If you do, I'm gonna be mad and I'm gonna turn you off. Or as I like to call it, it says, "Can I do this?" No.
hey, that's a way to go about it.
Yeah, that's even actual AI companies are saying you should be using a supervised mode and tell it what it can do and what not, and remember that kind of settings. Not just go allow everything or disallow everything. You should use a more measured approach, which is actually true.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
Also,
I
check out our YouTube channel,
yeah.
No Tax Allowed, and our YouTube channels, Bigpod and Lee J, where there isn't much new content by either of us again. We might start recording again at one point, both of us, because well, we might. That might has been a very might for a while now, but we're gonna see.
Yep.
And I think we talked about everything we need to talk about, and some more.
I believe so. So, anyways, Big Pod, I'll see you next week. How's that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Same time next week.
Same time next week.
Okay. Well, we'll keep that in mind. No random holidays, right?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I hope I'm not going to have any more work related disasters. In the meantime, we'll see you guys next week as well.
Goodbye.